Are we ready? Are we okay? We're live. It's happening. It's happening.
Welcome to season 5, episode 6 of Over the Ledge Live, the podcast, the #1 and some say only political satire show based solely on the Texas Legislature. I'm Amy Lowrey, and I'm glad you're here. Over the Ledge gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the shenanigans of the Texas Legislature by decoding political headlines and legislators' behavior into easy-to-understand nutritional information labels. Let's meet our guest for tonight. First up, we have our beloved house comedian, Aaron Salinas. Aaron is a writer, actor, and director who loves to share a laugh with folks almost as much as he loves to share a meal with them. Please welcome Aaron to the show.
Yay! Welcome Aaron.
What's up, homies? Happy holidays. Hope you had the most wonderful of meals and the most awkward of conversations with family. I met my mom's boyfriend, but I got cookies out of it. So,
is this the ghost hunter boyfriend?
It is. He is a ghost hunter, and I'm on my best behavior, so I can go on a hunt. After that,
whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh
and all my friends are like, "Yeah, you got to be nice to him until we can go on a hunt." I'm like, "Okay, I see. I love that we're all in it for a payoff." So
yeah. Our next comedian guest tonight is Hayato DeSouza. Hayato is an improviser, musician, and writer from Atlanta. He enjoys riding his bike, Vincent Price, and spending time in nature. Welcome, Hayato.
I'm so excited to be here. I have so little idea of what's about to happen.
Excellent. Why can't it's Vincent Price like a actor from movies?
He's the star of the Thriller video.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Got it.
He's the House of Wax guy too, right?
Yeah, he did a lot of silly 1950s, just campy horror, and I love it so much. I have his cookbook on my table right now.
He has a cookbook?
That's so
he has 3, and I'm trying to get the other 2, and his daughter's signing them. It's a whole thing.
Wow. Okay, sidebar.
Yeah.
Our very special celebrity guest for tonight is journalist John Moritz. With 27 years roaming the halls of the Capitol, John is one of the most, shall we say, seasoned reporters covering the legislature and Texas politics. Stephanie wrote this. He's covered 2 major party national conventions, 3 governors, 5 lieutenant governors, 5 House speakers, and more mass shootings and executions than he cares to recall over the course of 14 legislative sessions and interims. Please welcome John Moritz to the show.
Yay.
Welcome, John.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Finally, we have the creator and the ruler of the Over the Ledge empire, who needs no introduction. Stephanie Benson, the TV show sure holds up and is way funnier now that I'm older. Chiarello.
Thank you so much for having me. I really like that I made this happen for myself. Thank you.
Was that your nickname in high school? What was the full nickname, Amy?
The full nickname is Stephanie Benson, the TV show sure holds up and is way funnier now that I'm older. Chiarello.
True
She editorializes. Yeah.
I've been rewatching the show, and it is funny and poignant. And now that I'm not 4 and I work in politics, I'm picking up on a few things I didn't notice before.
I didn't watch that, but I did watch him in Sports Night.
I'm going to have to watch that next. I suddenly have great admiration for this person. Mm-hmm. But don't say his name out loud because I actually use it in one of the quiz games today. I don't want to give anyone a hint.
Okay. Just a reminder, if you like what you're listening to so far and you're in a position to help, please become a patron at whatever level is meaningful to you. It helps us produce the podcast and promote our efforts. Sponsor us at whatever level is meaningful to you at patreon.com/join/overtheledge. Now it's time for What's Up in Texas with our host, Stephanie Chiarello.
Yay! What's up in Texas, y'all? Hee-haw! The Texas House voted to remove school vouchers from the special sessions education bill. That really embarrassed Governor Greg Abbott, who immediately filled up the pages in his burn book with names of GOP legislators to call, quote, fugly sluts in his own way by challenging them in the primaries. Abbott is backing primary challengers of GOP reps who have betrayed him. He first endorsed Hillary Hickland, a mother of 4, against Rep. Hugh Shine of Temple. Hickland is running because she's mad about sexually explicit books in libraries. So I can't wait to hear what she thinks about Hugh D. Shine's middle name. Because it's like, okay, this is funny because Hugh is like huge and D, big Debbie
Wiener.
energy.
Oh.
The best jokes are the one you have to explain.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick issued a lengthy diatribe bashing the House and Speaker Phelan for, quote, killing school choice. As pro-choicers ourselves, we agree with him 100%. All schools should be able to decide for themselves whether or not to continue a pregnancy.
See, that's funny because no, I'm just kidding.
Prominent anti-LGBTQI plus attorney and former Harris County GOP chair Jared Woodfill is running for the Texas House to replace House Speaker Dade Phelan. When asked for comment, Woodfill responded that he, Woodfill, would fill Phelan's chair if voters were feeling that they would like it filled.
I was really hoping it was going to be a play on his last name.
I'm going to say that again. When asked for comment, Woodfill responded that he would fill Phelan's chair if voters were feeling that they would like it filled. We're here all night.
And that's our new warm-up for Over the Ledge.
Go back to that D middle name explanation.
Yeah, let's do that one again.
Okay. Hugh is like huge.
Feel.
In a desperate bid to distract from his voucher failure, Abbott went skydiving with 106-year-old World War. In a desperate bid to distract from his voucher failure, Abbott went skydiving with a 106 World War II veteran. They both landed safely, which I guess means this veteran failed in his one, quote, final mission to save America. That one really makes me laugh.
That one's good.
Another oil spill is threatening the fragile ecosystem of the Gulf, but fortunately for Texas shrimping industry, the spill is olive oil.
And
Okay,
it's
does
funnier because the Gulf is boiling, so the shrimp are just ready to eat as soon as
They're
they
just-
catch 'em.
Yeah, just pour some of that peppery stuff in there, that cardboard.
That's right.
Just
Some
throw
Old
some
Bay.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I love Old Bay.
so good.
Okay. This one's going to need explaining too, but it's funny for those who it doesn't need explaining for. State Senator John Whitmire is at a runoff to become the next mayor of Houston. But if he becomes mayor, who will train the X-Men? This is funny because John Whitmire is totally bald.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. You got to be in that one. Okay. I have 2 more. Stick with me. Billionaire Mark Cuban has sold his interest in the Dallas Mavericks, promoting suspicions that he could run for president. Finally, somebody who will look out for the 1%.
That's just sad. Like, I mean, like,
You
Yeah.
know what we need is a billionaire in charge. And finally, Rep. Andrew Murr, the owner of the best mustache in the Texas Ledge, is declining to run again after leading the failed impeachment proceedings against Attorney General Ken Paxton. He said he wants to spend more time with his family, which is code for this handlebar mustache isn't going to right itself.
Whoa.
oh, that's good.
Man, Stephanie. Wow. She
Are
went
you
there.
Now, Hugh D. Shine.
Yep.
Hugh D. Shine. Thank you. And that was What's Up in Texas with Stephanie of Over the Ledge. Thank you.
So that happened again. That keeps happening over and over again, just like special sessions. Okay, audience, let me tell you how this podcast works. On tonight's episode, Aaron and Hayato are competing against each other for the coveted Most KnowLEGEable Comedian in Austin award. The award is given to the comedian who knows the most. That's right. That's right, Atlanta. About Texas politics, according to the outcome of the games on our show. Stephanie, present the award.
The award has been presented.
There it is.
Hayato,
Whoever-
it makes you feel better. I learned about the Alamo through song, so it's not like I know a ton about Texas politics.
I'm trying
I
to be
read
like
a
the
book about the Alamo.
Microsoft thing that like bumps up against the corner.
Like Pong.
Yeah.
Whoever wins gets, that's an old thing. You guys might not know what that is. Whoever wins gets bragging rights and their photo on social media. Wow, a phallic bowling trophy. This is why we need patrons, so we can offer a real prize. Now, it's time to play our first game. Fake news. Our guest tonight, John Moritz, is a real journalist, but there are plenty of TV shows and movies with pretend journalists. Let's have some fun as we revisit those old shows in this game. Fake news.
Fake news. And don't forget, each one of you can use John Moritz 3 times as your phone a friend. And John, you can just give them the answer, or you can make them struggle and give them hints. But we encourage straight up helping.
That's 3 times over the course of 2 games.
That presupposes that I know the answers, but
Exactly. Exactly. Are you ready, Hayato? You get to go first.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's do this.
Okay. What was the name of the character who was the press correspondent on West Wing season 1, played by Allison Janney? Was it A, Mary Bailey, B, Claudia Craig, C, Alexi Murdoch, or D, Sam Seaborn?
Sam Seaborn.
I threw you off because Sam Seaborn was on the show, but it's really Claudia Craig. It's CJ.
Oh,
I guess I should have said
no.
CJ.
Oh,
You know, that wasn't fair. If I had said CJ, would you have gotten it?
no. I had no idea who it was, and then I recognized it Sam Seaborn. And after said, like, wait, wasn't it a super handsome guy?
Yeah, it was Rob Lowe,
Yes.
very handsome.
Yeah. Okay.
Can it be Sam Seaborn?
I think
Can it please
no,
Sam
he left the
Seaborn?
show eventually.
Yeah.
That's what we all said.
He was
Can it
getting
be
too big for his
Sam-
britches.
Okay, sorry, you got that one wrong.
Also,
Hayato.
he doesn't remember that. I don't think Aaron does either. That was
I
was
do
our
want to watch
generation.
West Wing. I have heard it's a phenomenal
I
show that I
watched
should.
3
And 6 feet
episodes
under. I want to
in-
give that a shot.
I think I only watched an AP government in high school. There's an education system.
well. Then you should have gotten it.
Yeah. I watched Roots in AP government.
I'm jealous.
Honestly, I'm surprised they a Texas public school that
That's
you watch.
true. It was only 20 minutes long. They really edited it. Okay, well then if West Wing is old, wait till you hear the next question. Aaron, what was the name of the character who delivered the news on news radio, played by Phil Hartman? Was it A, Jimmy James, B, Michael McVeigh, C, Ben Pettigrew, or D, Bill McNeil?
Gonna be honest, all these guys sound like adult actors.
That's why I used those names, Aaron.
You can also phone a friend.
I don't want it to be my first one. I don't know. I know. I'm pretty sure the next game is gonna be Tweets or Twasn't. So I'm trying to cash in on that. Give me the first 2 again, Stephanie.
Jimmy James or Michael McVeigh? Which actually, now that I say that name, I think I know who that is, and that's horrific.
That's
No.
Timothy.
That's Timothy McVeigh.
Thank you. Whew.
So it's not that.
It's not
is it?
B.
he only had a bid part on news radio.
You know who else was on news radio? Joe Rogan. News radio.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, was he playing? Was Joe Rogan playing a character? Or
Yeah.
did the character play Joe Rogan?
Whoa.
Jimmy James sounds like a
the
character.
guy who had U Shine's middle name,
Yeah, John.
Andy Dick. Sorry.
That's right.
I'll go with A, Jimmy James.
You know, he was a character on the show, but he was the radio show owner. It was Bill McNeil.
I'm Bill McNeil. Aaron, you need to watch that show. You called
Yeah, you
yourself
need to get
a-
a time machine and go watch some decent television.
And I
only
want you
watched
to
those
know
recently.
that Ben Pettigrew is my 9th grade boyfriend. So
Wow.
that's So it might be
Shout out.
giving you a little hint to how I'm picking the names for this show. Okay. Well, that's 0-0, but Hayato, you've got a chance here.
Oh boy.
This will be another visit to the archives back when we had black and white TV. What was the name of the character who was the press secretary on the sitcom Spin City,
Jesus.
who played opposite Michael J. Fox's character, Michael Flattery? Spin City. Was it A, Randall Winston? Do you need a moment, Hayato, to laugh
To
effervescently?
Google.
A, Randall Winston. B, Paul Lasseter. C, Sam Seaborn. D, Michelle Toon.
I actually just watched a documentary on Michael J. Fox.
Hmm.
And yet I still didn't remember what Spin City was. So I'm going to go confidently with the answer B.
Congratulations. It was
Man.
Paul Lasseter. Good job.
Good guess.
She's on.
Very
She's
good.
on.
Do you remember this show, John?
Start over again. I wasn't paying any attention.
I said,
We've lost him.
Yeah,
I
it
remember
had
this
a
show.
manhole- It had a manhole cover in it. In the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah.
And Connie Britton kind of got her start there.
I didn't
Yeah.
watch that one.
Yeah.
Was
She
it the
better as a
mayor's
football
office?
coach's wife, though.
It was the mayor's office. I'm noticing that a lot of these are about mayors and governors who are idiots, and then the
I
staff that
wonder
try
how
to hold
that
them up.
crept into the thought process.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, Aaron, here's a callback. What was the name of the governor on the early 1980s hit Benson? Was it?
Aaron was born.
I was
Okay,
not.
you know, I'm learning a lesson here that maybe these are not as evergreen as I thought they were.
I was born the
And
same year as Lion King. If that's so no.
Simba.
So no. Okay, what was the name of the governor on Benson? Was it Eugene Gatling, Robert Guillaume, Alex P. Keaton, or Richard Rocky Ewing?
B. I don't think it's B.
Keep
That
on a
sounds a little
friend.
too tricky for
Can
Guillaume.
Aaron phone me?
Do you know the name?
No, I just love nicknames. D sounded pretty cool.
Can I put? Okay, John, I need some help. Do you know this one?
I would only guess, but I honestly don't know.
Okay, thank you for your honesty.
That still counts as an ask.
It does not.
You don't get to ask, do you know? And then it's to phone a friend, Aaron. He let you down. And we should
Stephanie,
talk
that's if
about
you
it.
go to a restaurant and be like, hey, y'all open? And they're like, actually, we're closing up. Okay, I'll leave. That doesn't mean I paid.
You still went to
Ask
the
her to go through the
restaurant?
names again, because I think there's one that might be able to be deduced out of it.
Eugene Gatling, Robert Guillaume, Alex P. Keaton, Richard Rocky Ewing.
The Alex and the Robert are out, so it's between the Rocky dude and the first one.
What's the first one?
Eugene
Gatling.
Gatling.
It does sound like a governor name.
That one does
Maybe
sound cool.
Gatlinburg was named after him.
Or he after it.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I mean, from what I remember of the show, the governor did not have a Rocky persona, like a Rocky Balboa kind of guy. So
You got to
I were
earn that
sort
nickname.
of trying just to, figure out the multiple choice test. I would probably not take Rocky, but it's all on you.
Oh,
Being
thanks, John.
being as how you took the trouble to phone me and you were going to get gigged regardless of whether I helped you or not.
Thank you for your honesty, but also thank you for just being like, it's all on you at the end of the day. Like,
Damn.
I'll go with A then.
You're right.
Hey,
Good job.
thank you,
And that does count. It counts
Yes,
whether he
we'll
got
count-
it
we'll
right or
count
not.
that
But look at the way John worked that out. We could all learn a lot from John.
Could have used you during the tax test, John. I really could have.
So, to let you know how my mind works, so maybe you can play the game next time more better. Robert Guillaume is the character, the actor who played Benson. Alex P. Keaton is from another show. That's Michael J. Fox on Family Ties. And Richard Rocky Ewing is my dad's name, Rocky the Fighter, and Ewing from Dallas. So obviously, you know all these references, and you should have been able to put this together, Aaron.
So
Well, he
obvious,
did
Aaron.
with a little bit of help.
OJ was on the run when I was in the hospital. Okay, there was a lot happening for the Salinas.
Oh my Lord, I was post-college. I think I had just graduated college.
I was in Europe riding on trains and saying, like, what is going on in the United States?
Aaron Salinas was being born. And
Okay, well, good
Aaron
job. I
Salinas
think we have
came out.
1-1. So we're back to you, Hayato. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched House of Cards. Is this at least relevant? Is this in your lifetime?
Yeah, I was watching it while I was in college.
Okay. What is the name of the character who played a whippersnapper journalist working for the Washington Herald and eventual lover of Frank Underwood in season 1? What is the character's name? Is it Debbie Abbott, Joey Potter, Zoe Barnes, or Megan Williams?
I think
Frank?
it's Zoe Barnes.
I think you're right.
Oh, yeah! Ooh.
Okay, so Debbie Abbott comes from my friend Debbie and Greg Abbott. Joey Potter was to get you off the case. This is a Dawson's Creek character. And Megan Williams is a girl I went to school with.
All references
Okay.
I knew.
I hope you have a His Girl Friday question in here.
Aaron, final question for the fake news game. On the TV show Veep, what was the name of the character who was the press secretary for Selena Myers? Was it A, Mike McClintock, B, Bob O'Malley, C, Gary Walsh, or D, Dick Durbin?
Oh God, that's a good name. Dick Durbin.
That's 3 dicks in one show. I'm not sure we can.
Are we now over the PG-13 threshold now? You only get 3 dicks a show. You go. God, Dick Durbin's a good name. If not, I'm using it for a film. Give me A and B again.
A is Mike McClintock and B is Bob O'Malley.
Mike McGlintock sounds like he owns a gun store.
Unlike Gatlinburg.
Very true. Very true. Give me C.
You want the name? Gary Walsh.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm glad Dick Durbin was last, because had that been first, like the rest of them would have been a haze. Gary Walsh sounds like a name that I will go with.
Yes, it is a name.
And I'm incorrect.
Oh, sorry, you are incorrect. Gary Walsh is another character on the show, but it was actually Mike McClintock.
I should have. Dang it!
Bob O'Malley, I just made up so you'd get a little confused about McClintock and O'Malley. And then Dick Durbin is an actual senator or rep. He just happened to be on the TV while I was writing this game.
That's a
Chairman of the
name for politics.
Judiciary Committee in the United States Senate. As it
He's a
turns out.
yes.
Oh.
So that's how my brain works. Amy, how'd
All
they do
right.
in this game one?
Hayato has got it. Hayato has got it 2-1. So
Okay,
good job.
excellent.
Even though he's from Atlanta, don't feel bad, Aaron.
Thanks, Amy. That had nothing to do with Texas politics. Okay,
Or politics.
let's be a little kinder in our condolences. Okay.
And I think only
drama.
one of those shows is in the current century. So I'm going to have to work on, I'm taking the note. I want you to know I'm taking the note.
It's like 2 in our lifetimes.
No,
between
Veep and House of Cards are both in the 21st century.
That's true.
That's true. But
But
the
still, you
other
shouldn't be
four-
watching AMC when you're making these games. Okay, it's really
It's
really
the
hurt
only
my
thing
ego.
on old age home where I was having my dinner at 4:30.
Bonanza came on and she was like, "Oh, I should make a game." Let me.
You got to start
Is it
watching Me
Hoss?
TV. That's like the real old shows. Like
Me
60s.
TV?
Yeah, it's way back in the bowels of cable, basic cable.
The bowels of cable.
Girl, I heard
In fact, that was a soap opera that I auditioned for when I was a younger man. It was called The Bowels of Basic Cable. And it almost made it. The pilot, so it had a lot of potential. But just
Going to be on
didn't get picked
PBS.
up. Yeah. And as Stephanie alluded to, Preparation H was all but there as the sponsor.
Get it all but there.
Yes.
So if you
Huge.
guys know my stand-up comedy, which I assume all of you do, I tell this one joke about my butthole. And but I'm not into butt stuff. I want to be very clear. It's a different joke about my appendix. But I was watching Benson, as you can tell, and there's a no butt stuff reference in 1979. And I was just impressed with, I thought butt stuff wasn't invented until like 1998.
Yeah, I thought it was like Sex
So-
in the City, post Sex in the City.
Exactly. I had no idea.
It's true because like the female orgasm wasn't discovered until like 2007, 2008.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Which is why I've never had one, because I haven't had sex since then.
I've had one.
What's
It's not
next,
all-
Amy?
Oh my gosh, yes, me. All right. Congratulations. Our second game is Rote or Rotent, a game we made just for John, and it's the second time we're playing it. In this game, that's because John's been here before, Stephanie will read an article title and quote from an article title, quote from an article, and contestants will have to decide if John Moritz wrote it or if Stephanie wrote it.
That's right. So this is tweet or twasn't, Aaron, but wrote or rotent.
I was
you
hoping
ready?
it was either going to be like the noise that a rodent makes or with actual text, but I'll accept this game instead.
I did try to make it tweet or twasn't, but John has very dry tweets. Very dry tweets. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read
Sounds like a
you
breakfast cereal.
Dry tweets.
dry tweets.
No juicing frosted dry tweets.
It's sponsored by Hugh D. Shine and Preparation H. Okay, so I'm going to read you the title, and you're going to have to tell me if John wrote it or if he wrote it and I wrote it. Hayato, you go first. You doing okay there? Okay.
Yes.
Who's yawning?
I think he's coughing. He's yawning. He's like,
Sorry.
"Oh my god, have you heard of Benson? Neither have I. It's like so pterodactyl. If you get my
I
drift."
watch Pluto
Cab,
TV where they go through like
sus.
classics, and I still don't know Benson. Like I watch hours of Carol Burnett, and I don't know Benson.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
like say,
Who's
I
Benson?
love Green Acres.
The
I don't know
guy?
Benson
Is
for
the
shit.
town?
You guys just sound like racists.
That's right. Can't believe you haven't
Benson.
watched Benson.
Yeah, way to censor culture. Okay, here's the article. Governor Greg Abbott basks in peaceful exhilaration after making first parachute jump. The fainting helped. Is this the title of a John Moritz article or not?
I think not.
You are correct. I added the fainting helped, but I thought it
Okay.
sounded like John. John, what other titles did you have for this article?
Oh, it was so many days ago, almost 5. But
Was it as
I'm
old
pretty
as
sure
Benson?
I'm pretty sure the first part was correct, and I don't remember exactly what the last part was. Governor Abbott backs in peaceful. Yeah, I think in first parachute jump, I think was how it
That was
went.
all. It was all yours, except I added the fainting helped.
Okay. All right. Well, we have to write at least 3 different headlines for our stories, and I'm not sure which one actually makes it each time. So,
I didn't know that. Do you remember the other titles,
no.
like the airplane that failed?
All of them were in good taste and adhere to the highest standards of journalism excellence.
I'm glad you do that, John.
That's why.
Okay, Aaron. Why Operation Lone Star is both expensive and politically popular for Governor Greg Abbott.
It's what we call our beer runs on Friday night, Operation Lone Star. I'm just kidding. I don't drink Lone Star. It makes me dizzy. It does. I don't know why.
Makes me
Yeah,
lonely.
I'll go with it.
True.
I'm going with my tax test true or false knowledge. If the first one was false, this one's got to be true. That's what
John?
my teachers in second grade told me.
John, what do you think?
I think that's what I wrote.
It is. That is exactly right. Good job, Aaron.
God bless the standardized testing system.
Hayato.
Yes.
Stars collided when Representative Briscoe Cain met Dolly Parton at the Cowboy game. Then it got interesting.
I'm trying to gauge any kind of like facial reaction. He's giving me nothing. I'm like, surely he's gonna crack. No. You should do it.
You have 3. You can ask him. You have 3 left.
Oh, I thought you only get 2. Okay.
You get 3 total.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
Hi, John.
Am I being tapped?
You are.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Did you write this headline?
You'll have to read it again because I write so much. I may have forgotten. Go ahead and refresh my memory on that.
Stars collided when Representative Briscoe Cain met Dolly Parton at the Cowboy game. Then it got interesting.
No, that's a story and a headline I wish I had written, but as it turned out, I did not.
Okay.
That is correct. He did not write that. I wrote that.
It's a
But I
hell of a
thought
headline.
maybe I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
very
think it was
poetic.
in your style, John. I was reading through some of your titles. I thought I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron. Voters approved $10 billion for loans to shore up the Texas grid. We'll still freeze to death this winter. To hide my face.
I did see John's face kind of give a damn. I should have written that one. So I'm going to go with false.
You're right. His title was Voters Approved $10 billion for loans to shore up the Texas grid. Improvement still months away. I added the we'll still freeze to death this winter, which I think is a more accurate headline.
Tomato, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they both say the same thing.
I think if you would have put it in the form of a question, but will we still freeze it if you might have had a little bit, because that's what's called a grabber head, where we're trying to get the readers to click on it. And so if I already tell them they're going to freeze to death, like why bother reading? I'm already dead. But if I add a little mystery to it, then I get them to read my story.
Will we? Will we? I have to know.
I
Will we
remember
freeze to
that.
death? Well, if we're out in the cold and it's really, really, nobody's there to help us, then possibly.
So when I was a kid, I told this joke, and it was like, the world will end at 9:58 p.m. tonight. News at 10 or something.
That's good.
Film at 11, yeah.
Yeah. But I did notice, did y'all notice that maybe yesterday or the day before they were like tornadoes possible on Thursday? And I thought that was really jumping the shark for weathermen. Like, you can't even get tomorrow right, but you want me to get scared about Thursday?
Well, that's because when is the first of the month? People want to know if they need to pay their mortgage or not,
Amen.
Tomorrow.
especially if you live in a trailer.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, that was bad. I apologize to tornadoes everywhere.
Okay. I think this is Hayato. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is our final.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Why I quit scrolling Twitter and why you should too.
I don't know. I don't know who I want. I think I want Stephanie to write this one. Phone a friend. Hi, John.
Well, as you know, it's not called Twitter anymore, so that might be.
I
Yeah,
can't have
more-
X's or not X's. It's
Ooh.
tweets or twasn'ts, John,
All my exes live in.
in Twitter.
Yeah, just not to totally give it away, but you almost never find me writing in the first person in a news article, so that might.
It felt weird.
Provide you
I was
with
gonna
the
say,
clue
felt
you
very
need.
strange. Yeah. Yeah, Stephanie, this is not John's work. No.
It's not. It's mine. It's my work. It's my work. But I'm learning a lot about how to do a deep fake of John for next time. Okay, Aaron, final question. Who is the woman behind Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and why do we never see her?
Seeing the gentlest of smirks on John's face.
Yeah, don't believe every smirk.
John, do you know, was this you?
Is this an official phone a friend?
It is.
Yes, it's an official phone a friend.
I thought about who was the woman behind Dan Patrick during the impeachment trial, and I even asked a couple of people about it, but I'm not 100% sure that story ever made it to the printing press and to front lawns everywhere.
So no? So that is a capybara. That is a rodent.
Capybara. I love capybaras. Okay, you're correct. He did not write that one.
But I mean, it was almost like you were reading my mind, because that was like on everybody's mind in the press corps. Who is that? Turns out she was like his legal advisor, for lack of a better thing. And she doesn't normally get to sit up on the at the adults table in the Senate.
Yeah.
Don't ask me her name. I never did find that out. I kind of lost interest after the verdict was.
Didn't we all?
Jennifer Lawyer Lady.
Yeah.
It's a tie.
It's a tie. Okay, don't worry. I've prepared for this moment. Hayato.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats' strong language is no match for Republican majority on issue of immigration. You can't phone a friend in the tiebreaker.
Oh,
You just gotta go.
read it one more time. Let me try to. Yeah.
Democrats' strong language is no match for Republican majority on issue of immigration.
That sounds like a John Moritz article. Yeah.
John?
That sounds like a John Moritz article. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Aaron.
Uh-huh.
Texas veteran burn pit awareness champion appears with wife in campaign ad for Joe Biden.
Wait, is that his name? Burn Pit?
That's his
Texas veteran, burn pit awareness champion, appears with wife in campaign ad for Joe.
Wait, is his
period.
name Burn Pit Champion?
Yes, it is. No, Texas
You know what
veteran.
that is, right?
Do you know what a burn pit is?
Like a trash pit where you go and burn
Yeah.
your trash? 'Cause
But they
you don't trust
had
the
them-
government?
But yeah. Well, does anybody want to explain this better than I could?
The veteran, like they did this in wars and they were burning terrible things, and people who've been around burn pits are suffering from all these horrible conditions.
Oh,
Like
Including-
Hayato.
Including Beau Biden, and they think that might have been what it led to his brain cancer. So Joe Biden is very interested in the burn pit.
Problems in
Problems
the
that-
country, y'all. Like you have burn pit parties where you just like throw the mail that you don't want out in the open and you burn your trash. That's what I thought a burn pit was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they
you
were-
don't take like your spare bottle of ethylene or C4 or Agent Orange and be like, woo!
right where your soldiers are sleeping. And,
Yeah,
Oh, okay. True.
true.
Dang.
Okay, we're gonna have to go to the old ones that we played last time. Okay, because
We're too good.
you're too good. Okay.
or you could do some old TV shows.
Really fucking
stump
tough.
'em.
On Little House on the Prairie, Season 3, Episode 2. Did Laura Ingalls Wilder crack that egg over Nellie's head?
Did
Or
she
was it
tear her
Wilbur?
doll?
Okay, hold on. Oh, I didn't write this game very well last time. Okay. Red wave or not, Texas Republicans fared well. Democrats took another faceplant. I think that's
Are we still reading my articles?
yes.
Oh,
and wait
okay.
yeah, Hayato. This is an older article. It's from more than a year ago.
I feel like a phone
I
a
don't
friend just
know.
saying.
I know that was-
He
He did not sound sure, so way to go, John.
Well, when you said you were going to read something from last week, I was like saying, did I write
I'm
that
sorry. I
down?
meant the last time we played this game with you, which was almost a
okay.
year ago, the last time you were on the show. Okay, he gave it away. This isn't his. His was red wave or not, Texas Republicans fared well, but it wasn't all bad for Democrats. And I said Democrats
plant.
took another face plant. So we're not going to go with that one.
I mean, Hayato and I can both win.
Okay, how about this? Media access to elected officials is important to reporters, but it also doesn't matter.
That's not John.
Okay. Correct. His was media access to elected officials is important to reporters, but it's also vital to Texans. And I had added, but we make up most of this shit anyway. All right.
But if you wanted to make it more more nuanced, you could have said, but to ordinary Texans give it. And that would have.
Man, it's like you're a wordsmith by profession and experience.
Yeah.
Wow. And I just
poo all over.
Crap.
yeah. Okay.
This is like a learning experience. We can all improve.
Okay, these are the final two.
He's giving you a performance evaluation of your game.
Wait, I think Aaron is due one because Hayato just had one.
Oh, okay, Aaron. The 88th legislature session convenes with state coffers brimming and Republicans still in charge.
Sounds pretty Moritzy.
It's Moritzy.
Hey.
Okay. While the Texas Legislature is in session, the lives of every Texan is endangered. Hayato?
Oh, wow. I like it a lot. Yeah, let's say it. Let's go.
I'm sorry, so close.
Oh, no.
I made that one up. It's that the lives of every Texan will be affected, and I said endangered.
I was kind of wondering how that was going to come out myself, being how it's been more than a year.
Okay, Aaron. Proposed law would bar China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea from owning property in Texas. Or would it?
I'm going to say false.
You got it. You got it. You're right,
Like it was,
Aaron.
the real thing was owning slaves.
Jesus.
Or would it, I added. But here, I really like this fake headline. I'm just going to tell it to you. Greg Abbott, the real headline was Greg Abbott offers handshake direct letter on border policies to Joe Biden during El Paso visit. The fake one was Greg Abbott offers handshake shin kick to Joe Biden during El Paso visit. I liked it.
That was a
Okay. Amy, do we have a winner?
Yes, Aaron wins the bowling trophy.
Wow.
Congratulations,
Ta-da.
Aaron.
I thought it was a
Hayato
bottle
did
of
a
chocolate
great
milk.
job.
Ooh, chocolate milk would be a really good gift. A prize. Yeah.
Ooh, you know, I could maybe send like Tiff's treats to the winners every time.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't. I do. If it's me, please don't. That's the last thing I need at this point.
What if I send like Valerie's veggies? And
Okay.
it's just like
Got a
celery sticks and carrot sticks and
an edible arrangement.
Is that like Sue Salads on Parks and Rec? Everybody hates her, but she shows up at every event.
So if you do, what would you send the winner then?
all right. Good games, everybody. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Okay, now it's time for the main attraction when Stephanie interviews journalist John Moritz. Haha, the interviewer becomes the interviewee in this opposite day. Please welcome John Moritz to the show.
So, John, you already did a critique of a lot of my writing, but tell me a little bit about where you learned to write.
Where I learned to write? Well, it's an evolutionary thing. I mean, I mean, your first exposure would be like in grammar school, writing compositions and all of that. And, when you're a little bit a kid, or at least when I was, it was kind of embarrassing to have your stuff read out loud in front of the class. And so that almost made it like, ooh, I don't want to keep being embarrassed. So why do I want to write anything? But after a while, you gain your confidence, maybe in high school and maybe just like, writing nice, letters from home when I was in the service and all of that thing. And then back when I finally decided I'd go to college at age 22, a couple of different professors, an English professor and a journalism professor, gave me what I thought was encouragement to pursue it as a way to make a living. I did not think of it as a way to make a living necessarily. I thought it was a way to get by and kind of help me do other things. But once I decided, once I realized that, I had a certain amount of ability that needed to be refined constantly. I decided to just push forward with it, but it's still a learning thing. In fact, when you mentioned, excuse me, you mentioned the
It's
Abbott.
okay to get choked up. This is a
I know.
very
I'm so emotional about
emotional,
my own ego.
poignant.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah, but on the Greg Abbott parachute story, I think I wrote something like after a turbulent year under the Capitol Dome, Greg Abbott enjoyed a peaceful something or another, and I'm driving home after having filed that story, and I said, turbulent should have been offset by tranquil. That would have been the better, phraseology. So learning to write is an ongoing process, even though you do it, every day for a number of decades. You never feel like you nailed it each and every time. And so, like, I'm rewriting a story as I'm dodging traffic on I-35 on the way home, long after the article has been out on the internet. So
That actually makes me feel pretty good about how I remember things.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something different. What were you there when he jumped out of the plane?
I
Or you
caught
just
him.
bless your heart. Bless your heart. Okay.
No, I was there.
You were. They invited the press to watch the
Yeah,
jump.
it was public. Well, I guess open to the press. I don't know if anybody could show.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it was kind of an impressive event.
I'm sure.
They had I think 6 jumps, and most of them, like the governor and the gentleman who was kind of the reason for the jump, the 160-year-old Al Bushbashki, something like that. They had to jump in tandem, because they're not. Obviously the governor's not a trained parachutist, and a 106-year-old guy, he's going to need a hand. And a couple other people jumped in tandem, and then they had people taking videos as they jumped.
Cool.
They were the real pros, and it was like a high overcast, and so we watched the plane disappear into the clouds so they could get the altitude they needed, and then they came back under that cloud ceiling, and then one by one you see these tiny little specks pop out of the sky, and the photographers on the ground had long lenses so they could pick up who was who earlier than those of us who were just standing there, squinting into the into the clouds. And everybody, they had like a patch of like soft, like beach sand almost on the corner of the field. Everybody landed right in that patch. And I think, like modern parachutes, they may have some sort of a propellant with them or something, because you could hear noises like an engine noise from the jumpers as they hit the ground. At least I think it was an engine noise.
It was AI. It was an AI.
It was AI. So you've spent a lot of time doing journalism, and I think you followed many presidents. So in the old days, journalists would get on the bus or get on the plane and follow people around. That doesn't happen anymore. How does that impact your ability to write?
It adds a layer of challenge, and it's sort of like a number of situations kind of converge. Campaigning is an expensive proposition, and the news outlets have to pay for space on the airplane, pay for the hotel that the reporters or photographers or both are going to stay in, pay for the meals, this and that. And it's just a fact of life that there's just not that much money in a news budget like there used to be. And then the second part of it is that candidates find that they can get exposure to their liking by cherry picking news organizations to not necessarily travel with them, but say a candidate is going to go to Houston, and maybe find if it's a Democrat, they may find a friendly interviewer in one of the big cities. A Republican may go to Lubbock or Amarillo and find a friendlier audience there, and so it benefits them. I don't think the candidates miss us at all, to be honest. With you, but the other side of the coin, and I'm kind of like the silver lining here is if you get swept up into a campaign where you're on the road for days or weeks, it's not, Stockholm syndrome would be too strong, but you can't help but be friendly with the people you're around. You share laughs, you share a few beers, and is that the best way for the news to come through us to the readers and viewers, and maybe not having those cozy relationships, maybe there's an upside to it. I think on balance, I think we, in a perfect world, we be there on the campaign trail as it might have been 20 years ago. But that I don't think those days are coming back during what's left of my career. So we have to sort of do the best we can with the reality as it presents us, and not just lament the old days and say, "Oh, it's all gone to hell," and it's never going to get better. We need to, as reporters, as people who attempt to make a profit in journalism, they just we need to find ways to hold the elected officials and would-be elected officials accountable within the constraints of what we are facing in the modern world.
One of the things I think we do face in the modern world is this observation that fewer and fewer people are using print media or even traditional media, and that maybe that's because more things are online now. But when I read the print paper, I notice that it's just all bad news, and I don't want to read it because it's about murder or war or people in hit and run accidents. So my question to you is what is the responsibility of a journalist to provide an array of different kinds of news, good and bad? How does that impact, what the reader is doing?
Yeah, I think the temptation to go in the direction that you pointed, it's twofold. Obviously, if there's people being killed in your town, especially on your street or on your block, you probably need to know about that, whether you care to or not. The last thing you want to do is like what? My neighbor was murdered? What the heck happened? I was wondering why all that yellow tape was around his house, but I thought it was Halloween or something. Yeah. So I mean,
you have been to my house.
Yeah. So our responsibility is to, in those situations, is to explain, how what this means in an ordinary person's life. Whether it's if it's a big pileup on Interstate 35, are we there just because it's a big pileup, or are we saying this highway is so crowded, overused, underfunded? We need to provide more than just 5 people were killed and 3 were injured as a tractor trailer rolled over onto a sports car. We need to get to the why a little bit better. But I used to say up until Monday, we don't write about the airplanes that land safely, but apparently we do write about the parachuters who land safely. So, but again, that's more whimsical than light shining. But that's we should be striving to present whatever news, be it terrible about war. I mean, you need to know if whatever's happening with Hamas and Israel, that is not necessarily going to stay contained to the West Bank, far, far away. I mean, that's going to affect the appropriations that we send in tax money, the munitions that we might supply, the people who are only slightly removed from those people in those other countries because they have family and friends over there. So we can't ignore that because again, it's just like, what? My neighbor's house, my neighbor got murdered. It's kind of like, what? World War III happened while I was out shopping, huh? Son of a gun. So we've got to do that, but again, we got to do it with some education. And I'll challenge the notion that print journalism is less relevant. The things that I write online is print journalism. That's even though it's not on paper all of the time. The skill set that I bring to that sort of reporting is 98% of what I did before the internet was the rule. You still got to get your facts right. You still got to write a story in a way that keeps that first engages a reader, keeps him or her interested, and if there's a solution that can be presented, it's got to be done. It's faster now. The story that I would have written in 1996 when I first came to Austin would have been written probably by about 7 p.m. at night. It would have been finally edited by about midnight that night after having been read by 5, and I'm not even exaggerating, 5 or 6 editors. They would comb it for every little nuance. Is this the exact right word? Is the semicolon should be a comma? Do we ever close that quote? All of those things would come into play. And do we get it? Do we amplify the other side of that story? And all of those questions would be batted around from the time I turned it in to the time it went to press. Now it's very, very fast. I don't know if lucky is the right word. But 1 or 2 people might see my story before it goes online. 3 people at the most might see it before it gets in print. But also, it can be fixed. If when I worked for Harvey Kronberg of the Quorum Report, he used to call the subscriber his editors, because if there was a mistake, somebody would call him out and say, "Hey, fix this shit."
Yeah.
So they would provide that check and balance. So I don't know how I got off on that little tangent, but it's still print journalism. That's where I'm going with it.
I appreciate that.
We do add other layers of media. We have moving pictures, with our stories online.
I heard of that.
We
I heard
do.
of them.
Yeah.
I did.
But it's not TikTok videos, and a lot of young people get their news from TikTok videos.
Believe it or not, some of it is.
You have a TikTok channel, John? You're gonna after this show. I'm gonna make one.
We have reporters who are who spent less time working in the 20th century than I did, who are mastering that in a way that is still responsible journalism. And when we pick up TikTok videos and incorporate them into our news, we become responsible for that content. So we can't just say, "Hey, cool TikTok video. What do you think of that?"
Right.
We've got to be able to provide the context. Is it true? Is it false? Is it fair? Is it accurate? And all that sort of thing. But, we're all, as an industry, we're almost into the second decade of the 21st century, even though we're in real life, everybody else is in the third decade of the 21st.
Can you give an example? Yes,
I
Amy.
had a comment about your bad news. I think you need to remember, though, it depends on who it happens to, because I read the news to see what's happening, let's say on certain court cases, for instance. And what may be bad news for some people, for me, is good news that makes my day.
I like that
Yeah,
perspective.
absolutely. I mean, who among us doesn't wish we were in that car wreck? No, just kidding. But
No, I'm not talking about the car wreck. I'm talking about certain court cases that might be
No, no,
going
no,
on at
no,
different
you're
states.
right.
for
Yeah.
instance.
In
I just
fact,
know that when I flip to the Metro section of the paper that I read because of my boss lives there, it literally is drugs, murder, maybe sexual assault, and then like an obituary. Like the front page has some exciting things, and instead of calling it like local, it should just be called death, rape, murder.
Bet the Valley.
Yes, it is.
And there's
Yeah.
probably something about a new car wash opening up. Hey, give a little credit where credit is due. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. The people start their careers in the Rio Grande Valley, and that's where they learn how to make mistakes. And hopefully they'll get better as they do. And it's like anything else. If you go to a restaurant where the chef has got 20 years experience, it might be a little bit better than if it's at McDonald's where they're still learning how to flip a burger. So it's unfortunate, but it's
Not even
also
food.
it's also the market. I mean, the Valley Morning Star or the McAllen Monitor or the Brownsville Herald simply cannot afford to pay a wage that would compete with even Waco or Corpus Christi and Lubbock, Amarillo, and certainly not Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio, and El Paso.
It's a lot of fresh out of college, right, John? That's where a lot of my friends went.
Yeah, I mean that we all got to learn somewhere. My first job was in a town called Rockwall, Texas, which is in the geographically smallest county in the state, and the publication came out 2 times a week. I was still in junior college, and I was so damn rich with that $600 a month salary. I did not know what to do with all that money. So, of course, this was some time ago. That would be almost like $650 in today's dollars.
Oh, wow. You picked a good career path. Give me an example of a story that you wrote that was controversial, either that the person you were writing about threatened you, or after you wrote it, the editorial board, or I guess just the editor said, "What did you do, John?" Or where you might have had like a conflict of conscience about writing it or not.
I almost never have a conflict of conscience about having to write a story. If it's an event or something that I've come across that I looked at it through whatever experience that I have, talked it over with editors, and it was the right thing to do. I'm generally fine with that. That doesn't mean, you don't feel bad if somebody is dropped in the grease on it. I mean, you're still a human being, and somebody's day is just ruined. But if that story needs to be told, it needs to be told. And as long as I got it right, as long as I was fair. I push back against the term balance because balance is a false equivalency. Fairness is the standard. Balance is where you say that, and we used to get into this over the global warming debate that we would have to find a scientist who rejected climate change. And it was just bullshit, pardon my language again. And why offer that platform in the interest of balance if it's not serving the reader? So anyway, that doesn't answer the full part of your question. I think you're looking for a concrete example.
No, I like all that. I'll allow it.
Okay. So
yeah.
All right.
How have things changed at the Capitol, and what do you wish just the average reader understood about that building?
Ooh, that's a really good question. There's a notion, maybe it's probably in the Capitol, and it's probably as much as, or perhaps more so, just in the world, that because someone holds a political position different from the one I hold, that person is bad. He's evil. He's got no moral use to the universe. And I kind of think that people come to their ordinary people, not necessarily politicians, come to their political views honestly. If you're just a citizen, you're a product of your upbringing at home, your friends on the street and school, and you incorporate that into your worldview. And if somebody who lives in a different part of the town that you or I might have lived, or had parents who were strict or more open-minded than yours or mine might have been, their views might be different from mine. That doesn't make them bad people. They haven't been exposed to everything, but they know what they know, and they reflect what light has shined on them. And to bring that back to your other question, how has that changed in the Capitol? I think when the Senate was forced to find a consensus on bills. You want to vote on a bill? We got 31 people in this room. Get 20 people who will at least agree to debate on that bill. That might mean that everything you want in that bill ain't going to survive in that bill. You're going to have to work with somebody you'd otherwise not want to work with. And you're going to have to also work with that person on something that's important to him or her. And that sort of dialogue opens a window into the thinking, into that upbringing, into the culture that brought them to the political views that they bring to the Capitol. And absent that, it's, if I don't need your vote ever, why do I even need to talk to you? It's just like, and then if I want somebody to give me money so I can continue to serve in Austin, that donor base or that grassroots base, they might want you to only cater to their needs and are going to be very unforgiving if you go talk to that other person and water down the bill that would have been perfect in their eyes. And I'll go back to the about 20 some odd years ago to the hate crimes bill, which was the first bill that I recall covering that really roiled the Texas Capitol in a way. I mean, that everybody was on edge, and there was teeth gnashing and anger, and a tremendous tragedy had taken place in East Texas, in the town of Jasper, where a black man was literally chained and dragged to his death on the streets. And that's where we got the notion that we needed a hate crime. And the only thing that black person did was have the good fortune or the misfortune to be born the way he was born. And for that, he did not get to live a full life. And George Bush was running for president, and he was okay with a lot of in the bill. But if we were going to extend protections of hate crimes to people because of their race or their religion or other factors, what about those people who find themselves loving somebody of the same sex? Can we protect them too? No, we cannot. I'm sorry. So the bill dies, and there's anger. It's palpable. So 2 years later, they come back. And everybody realized that things got too far left and right, and they didn't talk to each other enough. And so what Rodney Ellis did, he was the state senator from Houston, and Senfronia Thompson was the state, I believe she was the House sponsor of the bill. They weren't going to give in on protections for what was then just called gays and lesbians. Now there are more people added to that pantheon. So where they found the common ground was Rodney and Senfronia, as best I can remember, they backed away from the language of sexual orientation and accepted the language of sexual preference. And to many people in the community that's there, it's not a preference, it's an orientation. But in order to pass that bill, I mean, do you want to be a hate crime victim and say, yeah, but at least it was because of my orientation and not because of my preference is the reason I got beat up? No, we're going to take that language and we're going to incorporate it in the bill. We'll get the 21 votes in the Senate that we need. And I think they ended up getting 30 or maybe 27 or 30 votes by the time it was all over. But it was because they worked together and each side had to give a little bit. And there's a famous thing, and it might still exist in grainy black and white video, where a senator named Tom Haywood, who had some, I think he had a Parkinson's disease that limited his speaking ability and limited his mobility, where he made a show. And he sat up on if I'm looking from the lieutenant governor's chair down out to the Senate, he would have been, let me get where my hands are. He would have been on the front row on the right side of the lieutenant governor. Rodney Ellis's desk was diagonally opposite of him in the back row on the other side. And those two walked together and shook hands because they were able to agree on this bill in 2001 after basically the legislature came apart at the seams just 2 years earlier. Wow. And I mean, the 21 vote rule in the Senate. And for those people who are guests from Atlanta and other places, it was known as the 2/3 rule. And basically, whoever was lieutenant governor said, if you want to take up the Senate's time debating this bill, you got to show me that you forged a consensus on it. And and Stephanie knows this. 90% of all bills are 31I or 27-4, whatever. They're all done. But there are those 3 or 4 bills that you're gonna actually shed blood on the Senate floor over. So the lieutenant governor says, don't even come to me asking when this bill is going to get heard on the floor unless you can show me 21 votes. And that made you could argue that made the legislation better. You could argue that made the relationships better. And boy, that was a long way to answer a very simple question.
No, I like it. And I think one thing that drives me crazy when somebody's like, this is bipartisan. And when you just have one person from the other party, that doesn't make something bipartisan. I think there should be a rule that's like at least 50% of one party joins 50% of another party.
I don't think that would be unreasonable.
Thank you.
I think either side will do it if they think it's to their advantage to say it's a bipartisan bill because they got that one stray calf from the herd to
or the same one stray calf that they know they're always going to get. Yeah. I'm going to end with this question to you. Are you hopeful about how we're taking care of people in Texas?
He said we could freeze to death. I feel like that was some context.
He did.
That might have been an exaggeration.
Are we going to freeze to death?
Is it as bad as it feels, or is this how it always goes?
No, I think the climate is the political climate, not the freeze to death part of the climate. It's much different. I've just started a book. I'm only a couple of chapters in, and it was written by a friend of mine who's a former reporter here in Austin, who's now a professor at UT, and it's about. He traces race relations in Texas from the 1870s to the modern times. And a lot, he spends a fair amount of time sort of myth busting, that Texas machismo, that we know how to do things that the rest of the state doesn't. And it talks about just the naked oppression of people in the minority, especially racial and ethnic minority, and it's systematic. It was on purpose, and that climate, again, political, not geological or whatever. That was extremely instrumental in Texas becoming the second largest state, and for the past couple of decades, the fastest growing state in the country. It's just the fact that if you had yours and you were not a member of those groups that might be picked on, you could have a pretty good life. And so I'll probably after this over, I'll go read a couple of more chapters. But again, that's a long way of saying there's always been somebody trying to gain or preserve an advantage in Texas. I don't know if that's unique to Texas or if there's an element in every state, but I think it's probably there might be a pronounced effect in Texas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the state got better from those days where I think the Constitution that precedes the Constitution of 1876, the one we live under now, specifically said that if you wanted to free your slave, you needed an act of, this was in the Republic of Texas, you needed an act of the Texas Congress to say you could free your own slave.
Oh my God.
And assuming Congress said, okay, fine, set him free, that freed slave was no longer welcome in the state of Texas. And not only not welcome, he had to go, or she had to go. So yeah, we're better than we were now, than we were then. And are we perfect? No. Or do we take steps back with some steps forward? Of course.
I mean, that's kind of a low bar, really, that example.
It is.
Yeah,
it is
a low bar.
But all of us sitting here are products of that. Regardless, I mean, whether you're on the advantage side or the disadvantage side, we are still the products of that. But we don't have it near as bad or as good, if good is the right word, as it was back in the 1870s. So I guess to sum it up, am I hopeful? I think we have the ability, we have the capacity to make Texas better. Will it be perfect? Will it be marginally better in our lifetimes? I hope so.
I just want pretty decent. I just want pretty good.
Generally, Medicaid expansion, that'd be good.
Yeah. A little Medicaid, a little, humanity.
Can we just keep the lights on? Can we just set the bar a little bit lower?
A little.
Start there.
I
don't know if you realize that, but you're talking in a shadow right now on my box.
Exactly.
That's right, Aaron.
I know it's a very specific request. Aaron needs something more than candles.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a question for John or Amy? You want to take us out of here?
All right,
John, I appreciate the good work you do, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that more than you know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our special guest, John Moritz, and to our comedic guests, Aaron Salinas and Hayato DeSouza. Where can people find you next? John? You're going to be covering any other?
We're going to be moving from the countless special sessions into the campaign season coming up. Within a couple of 3 weeks, we'll know who wants to run in the primaries for the legislature and for the United States Senate and the sundry congressional districts that we have. So we'll probably transition out of gavel to gavel and more into campaign coverage, and hopefully, even if we can't, be on the bus, on the plane, in the hotel, we can still do what we can to inform the readers who need to know what we're trying to tell them.
Great.
What's your Twitter handle? Your X handle?
I'm at Johnny Mo, JOHNNIEMO, on Twitter. And if you're on Threads, if you don't want to be on X or you want to be on both, it's the same handle followed by 217, because that's February 17th is my birthday, and some son of a shit stole Johnny Mo before I could get it.
Oh, Scott Braddock.
Yeah.
Aaron, how about you? Where are you going to be next? Are you performing?
I will be performing with the recently deceased Christmas edition on December 16th and 23rd at the Upstairs Theater of Hideout.
Oh, wow. Awesome. And Hayato, where are you going to be performing?
I'm on and off, but you can follow me, Hayato DeSouza, on Instagram or Venmo if you want to help me get those last 2 Vincent Price cookbooks.
Right.
I love it.
That's awesome. Thank you to our Wait, Stephanie, you're performing sometimes. I didn't ask you.
I don't have anything lined up, but
No,
no, but you can follow me at S Chiarello, Texas on Instagram. I did just have a show out at Mama Merlot's in Buda.
in a bunker 20 feet underground.
In a bunker 20 feet underground. It was great.
Cheap
It's a
Hill.
cute little
Really
spot,
safe.
though.
It
It
is
is
cool
such
when
a
you get
cool
down.
spot. I think I'm going to do my birthday party out there. I've decided.
You all have
Oh.
to sign waivers. It's scary, but okay, I'll be there. Thank you to our over the ledge gracious empress, Stephanie Chiarello.
Thank you to Amy Lowrey for guiding us through this episode. Just remember, she's glad you're here. And I want us to take a second, Amy, to dedicate this episode to your father, Bill Lowrey, who just passed, but he was one of our biggest fans
Yep, he
of the
listened.
show and of Amy. So let's have a moment for Bill.
Thank you.
Condolences.
Of
Thank
course.
you very much. And he was a liberal in Northern Louisiana. So
He's the one.
yeah.
The one.
And my mom's still carrying the torch. And that's our show. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok as @OverTheLedge. Thank you for joining us.
Bye. Everyone say bye. Thanks, guys. We did it. I'm going to